That's President Biden addressing Republican efforts to strip away affordable health care. Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Jake Auchincloss of Massachusetts. Congressman, thanks for being back with us today. Let's start right there. What did you think of the president's defense of the Affordable Care Act? He, of course, had joking reference to how he described it when it was passed. And any of your other, what you thought were highlights from the president last night?
Good morning, Jonathan. Obamacare certainly a highlight of the speech, not only in what Democrats have done, which is to extend access to health care to tens of millions of Americans and to lower their prescription drug prices, but for what it portends about what Democrats would do in a second Biden administration, and that is to continue to fight the greed of health insurance companies like United Healthcare to lower patients' out-of-pocket prescription drug prices. Democrats have successfully fought health insurance companies on behalf of the American patient for more than a decade, and we're going to continue to wage that fight to lower people's health care bills. And Republicans just simply can't make a similar promise. And that was really a theme of the night for the president, was sharp contrasts. You know, he came out swinging on Ukraine, standing up to Putin, and Republicans couldn't even stand up for that line. He came out swinging on abortion, on an IVF, on immigration, on gun violence. It is a series of contrasts that I think invited the American viewer to consider which vision of an American future did they believe in, one of possibilities and progress or one of anger and regression.
It was certainly striking that Speaker Johnson behind him couldn't stand up or applaud for things that should have been enjoyed bipartisan support, like standing up to Vladimir Putin, as you say.
For fighting Vladimir Putin,
yeah. So, Congress, take us inside the room last night. Tell us a little more about just the tenor of the audience. There were certainly some heckles. The president got into some back and forths, and also what you made of the president's energy level.
A few things stood out to me. One of the Republicans shouted liar at him, which, as you remember, 15 years ago was considered a scandal, and now the GOP has so degraded itself in its sense of decorum that no one even batted an eyelash. And that just kind of made me sad as a member of Congress that the institution has been soiled by, frankly, the behavior of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene wearing a MAGA hat at the State of the Union. I mean, come on, grow up, you know? But a few other things stood out to me. One is how much energy he brought when he first took the lectern. I think the audience was really electrified. He immediately launched in to how the United States is not going to walk away from NATO and the importance of defending Ukraine. And I think that really sent a jolt through the room. And the second thing is how he closed. He closed really warmly and directly addressed the question of his age. He invited the American viewer to say, you know, my age is not just a series of headlines. It's a question of my wisdom in steering the ship of state in turbulent waters. I was born in World War II. I grew up in the civil rights movement. I've been in the Senate for, decades, and I've seen America's trials and tribulations, and I know its soul, and I can help us meet our possibilities.
Yeah, there's no doubt the president accomplished what he sought out to do last night. Congressman, lastly and briefly, tell us about the guest you brought to last night's address, the executive director of Parents for Peace. Tell us a little bit more about what they're trying to do.
She helps de-radicalize youth who have been caught in the cesspool of social media and pulled into a vortex of radicalism that their parents and their community can't pull them out of. She's the only person doing that work nationally. And it really complements my legislative work to hold social media corporations to account for the fact that they're attention fracking American youth. It is corroding young people's mental health. It is undermining our civic discourse. And they are totally unaccountable to U.S. law, which is why we need to rein in these trillion-dollar social media corporations, because it's not fair to ask parents to fight Mark Zuckerberg. Congress needs to take up that fight.
All right. Democratic Congressman Jake Auchincloss of Massachusetts, thank you as always. We appreciate it.